My name is Jack McLean. I'm your host, and I'll be discussing all things how your off-season program and recovery should differ from your in-season focus. Might sound obvious, but there'll be a couple of power tips in there that definitely will surprise you in terms of how we want to approach not only your training, but also most definitely your recovery. So we'll get straight into it. From a recovery point of view, your most common methods of use will be typically either heat or cold water immersion, cryotherapy. And in the off-season, pre-season, where we're trying to deliberately, progressively overload the body, which is just simply putting demands on the body to improve, get fitter, faster, stronger, so we're better able to play the position on the field for our football team. We don't want to stunt our muscle growth and our protein synthesis. And cryotherapy, the research shows it may do that. So simply put, if you do a huge gym session and you're putting in lots of effort to get a little bit bigger, build some body armor, or maybe you want to get stronger or more powerful, by having an ice bath within that 24, 48 hours post of your gym session, you could be hindering your adaptation. The stimulus that you're putting through the body could be reduced. So we don't want that in pre-season and off-season. In saying that, if your goal is purely to build your conditioning, then maybe freshening up by doing an ice bath on a Thursday before your main session of the week on the Friday for your running might help you with performing that session. So if that's the case, you don't want to gain muscle mass, you're not trying to focus on improving your strength or power, and you just simply want to improve your conditioning in the off-season, pre-season, then absolutely use ice baths, as they're known for reducing muscle soreness and helping us recover. So that will help with your quality of training for that Friday session. So it's individualized, but for the most part, that's definitely something that, as I've found when I've educated footballers on at all levels, that it's not something they've heard that research before. So I thought it'd be an important one to start that one off with a big power tip. Now you might be asking, okay, what recovery do I want to be doing in the off-season, pre-season if I do want to gain muscle mass, get stronger, and put in and get all the benefits of the hard work I'm doing in the gym? Then we want to be thinking things that promote blood flow. So sauna, that's okay to do. Any form of low intensity active recovery, like spinning the legs on a bike or going for a walk, or maybe foam rolling massage is another good thing, and that's not going to hinder your protein synthesis. It's not going to affect your gains in the gym. Obviously, sleep and fuel, so nutrition should be your main focus. So those two big rocks for recovery year round, they're your non-negotiables. But in terms of the accessories, stretching, massage, and any form of heat is okay in off-season, pre-season. In terms of this week, we just got a quick one as well before I kick into the podcast. We've got a current going round again with the Corfu grammarians in the VAFA League. So for those strength and conditioning coaches listening to the podcast, or perhaps you're tuning into live and you're interested in gaining some experience as a strength and conditioning coach, then we have 2 spots opening at the Corfu grammarians, both with the men's as well as with the senior women's program. And it's a great opportunity for not only getting experience on the field with helping out with conditioning, but also you will have access to a gym. They've got the school facilities that there's access over pre-season. So you get to work with big groups and build up your experience. If that's something that's interesting for you, over the next week, I'll be shortlisting 2 to 3 prospects for each program to then progress it to the next stage of the process, being the head coach. So if you're interested, we're going to make a pretty quick decision. So if you're listening to this, make sure to act straight away. Just email me. Maybe you just want to have a chat about it and find out more information about what you get. It is paid, so you get $2,000 for the preseason season, as well as a free academy membership on our academy, which is worth $200 for the year. You get that as part of this internship role. So I mentor all the interns, and it's really fluid. So you get out of it what you put in. So if that's something that you're interested in, email me at jack@preparelikeapro.com and we can get on the phone and have a quick chat. So that's for the CGS FC men's and women's program. We've got 1 week to sign up for that one. In terms of our podcast for this week, we have our Wednesday episode will be with David Misson. So he's the head of performance at the Sydney Roosters. Interviewed him last week, and it was an absolutely riveting interview. He's had experience across a range of different high performance programs. So something I recommend all strength and conditioning coaches or physiotherapists, high performance staff, definitely listen in. We focused a fair bit of the chat around high performance culture as well as leadership. So if that's something that interests you, tune in. That will be published on Wednesday. And on Thursday, we're bringing back our live chats with Ben Serple. As we know, Geelong Football Club just won the premiership, and he's the head performance coach there. So doing a great job. I believe it was his first year at the Geelong Cats. So really looking forward to having a chat with Ben. He's got a range of different experiences in elite sports. So really looking forward to having him on the show. If you have any questions for Ben or you're an Academy member and you want to send in some questions, make sure to hit us up in the discussion forum in the Academy, or you can email me those questions at jack@preparelikeapro.com, and I'll make sure to add those into the run sheet. Sunday, our bite-sized episode will be with Prime Train. So that will be released. That was from a recent live collaborative event that we did over a month ago with social media influencers. So that will be brought into a podcast episode around 10 minutes where we have Prime Train on. He was talking about how he manages the business, but also from a social media point of view, the importance of getting yourself out there and making sure that you really understand your niche, as well as some of the things that he does at Prime Train to boost the brand. So if you're interested in brand development, make sure to tune in for that one, or maybe you just want to boost some of your social media following. I'm just going to head over to our YouTube channel now. So if you're tuning into Instagram, make sure to head over to the YouTube channels. I'll just be referencing the program. So we'll go through our maintainers program for the week, which is for those on our program, this is your base program that we follow, of which there are a few different derivatives. We've got our gainers, we've got our development program, men's and women's. There's a few different variations of this program, but our maintainers program is our basic template that we work off, and then we individualize depending on what the athlete's following and their goals. But at the moment in off season, this is week 2 of our off season program. We're still sticking with 2 runs a week. So one on Monday, one on Friday. As I mentioned, this is a low, like last week, it's a feel good stage of your off season. So we're just wanting to, now it's week 2, we just want to start getting into routine. So make sure when you've had a couple of weeks off, routine, you can take a little while to jump back onto the horse. So make sure that you're getting back into your routine, your discipline on what days you're committing to your training. But at the same time, with no game day, the program is really fluid. So don't stress if life gets in the way due to work or other commitments that you have, social, family, whatever it might be, and you're going on holiday, whatever the circumstance, this is in the off season, it's a really good time to prioritize other things than football. So the program can work around that. And I would definitely recommend you do that. So you could move the Monday program, for example, to Tuesday, and that's not going to impact us on Wednesday. So as long as you're getting 48 hours between our running days of rest. So if you do move the Monday run to Tuesday and you don't run again until minimum of Thursday, then we're pretty good at this time of year. Breaking those runs up from the start of the week to the end of the week is just a good thing, as we're just focusing on quality at the moment and allowing enough recovery from the gym sessions and just getting back into this type of running, because you wouldn't have done this type of running since this time last year. So it's been probably about a year where your body's starting to run for longer distances. You're also doing more volume in the gym, higher rep ranges, more range of motion, which typically creates some different types of fatigue. So although you were consistent over in season, this is a very different program. It should feel like a pretty easy week, and make sure to take those rest days. That's really important. And I touched on that last week. So have the days off. We don't want to be biting off more than we can chew at this time of year, because I've seen that. And you can definitely burn out if you're just putting in and working your ass off at this time of year. Come March, you're sick of training and you're sick of footy. So we want to make sure that we're timing our run. So take the rest days, keep focusing on variation. So with the fartlek on Monday, we've got 3 6-minute blocks. Great time to get out and do a trail run and get outdoors. Don't just go to your local football oval. Make sure you mix it up. Maybe you run it, if for those that don't have any lower limb injuries or foot stuff, maybe you might run on asphalt or on a trail aths track, for example. For those, obviously, that you know the grass is your best option, then stick to grass, of course. But Monday, we've got our simple warm-up, 2-minute jog into 4-minute mobility, and then get straight into the fartlek. The fartlek's a great way to get our heart rate up around that 90% of your max. And we want to focus on slow aerobic running. So you're not working on high speed with our Monday tempo running. You're just working on consistency and making sure you're maintaining a nice high heart rate. So it's typically high work and low rest periods. Then your full body strength program, similar movements to last week. We were working on making sure we're strengthening our body in those outer ranges. So the goblet squat with a dumbbell on the chest is a great opportunity to squat nice and low. The things like chin-ups, cable adduction, make sure you're really focusing on that philosophy, which we're big on in the off-season, which is lengthening is strengthening. So work on those end ranges when your body starts to feel that stretch, and train as you warm up. You should be able to work on a little bit more mobility and really push that, opposed to lifting as heavy as you can through short ranges, which will be a focus later on when we're working on our max strength. And also keep the weights consistent. So dumbbell, goblet squat, chin up, cable adduction. So you can do that as a 3-way rotation. Our single arm dumbbell bench press. So you've got 2 dumbbells out in front and you just do one arm. And once you've completed the other arm, then you change sides. Dumbbell reverse lunges, really important that you load the front leg. So we're getting that similar movement and mechanics to an acceleration position. So you load the front leg, just lightly kiss the ground with the back leg and then accelerate up. Alternating sides. Single arm rows, make sure you got a really heavy weight and grip tight. Don't let the dumbbells roll into the fingertips. Our split stance dumbbell RDL, great opportunity to overload our hamstrings. And remember, we want that to be hip based like last week. So soft knee bend and then load the heels, really feel a good hamstring stretch. And then we finish off with our body armor work, some ab work and some arms. Tuesday is a rest day. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday rest days. Now, if you're someone who loves to move and your motivation is really high and you've been doing it for a long time in terms of training, then feel free to throw in some different types of maybe a yoga class, Pilates. You might go down to the local MMA gym, boxing, whatever it might be. So throw in some different stimuluses. Don't just do the same old sessions that you've done or you've done in the past. Try something new. This is a good time to explore as well. Then on Wednesday, we've got an upper body volume day. So really focusing on building some muscle mass through the trunk. That close grip bench press should be a little bit heavier than last week from 10 reps to 8 reps this week. And you've got an extra set as well to build up your weight. Wide grip lat pull down, really good movement for building muscle mass through our lats. So make sure you go as wide as you can that your gym allows. And then the seated dumbbell shoulder press. And then from there, we're just finishing off with some shrugs, front raises, and some core work, as well as some close grip push-ups. Thursday, rest day. And then Friday is a double session like Monday, but a different theme to our running. So we're working on some speed. So you've got some repeat speed. So we want to repeat speed. Typically, you're at 80% of your max velocity, and you're doing that for an 85-meter effort. So it's a pretty hard effort. Then we've got a 2-minute max effort. So we started just push your threshold pace. So think of that. You should be moving at above a 2K time trial pace with that 2-minute max effort. And if you can, record how far you run. So if you know that the oval that you're at is a 400-meter oval or 450, or maybe you're at aths track, get a bit of an idea and enter that into Team Builder about the distance that you get. And then we're back into that aerobic tempo running, which we've been doing. Your 30-second efforts should be getting around 150 meters. And for our 40-second efforts, should be getting around 200 meters there. So good consistency. Work to rest ratio is still 1-to-1. And as we progress over the next couple of weeks, we'll start to move more to 2-to-1. So 40 seconds work, only 20 seconds rest, trying to maintain the same distance. So make sure you're covering the ground really well when you're getting those long rest periods. And then we're working up to a heavy set of barbell back squats. So we'll make sure you work on that range of motion like we talked about. So you should be squatting lower than what you normally do in season with your box height. Our face pulls, good for the shoulders, good for shoulder health. RDLs, another hip-based deadlift hamstring movement with our dumbbell bench press. Seated rows into dumbbell step up. And then we've got our hamstrings, more of a knee-based hamstring. So one leg on the way down for the stretch to really overload that outer range eccentric portion of the movement, and then 2 on the way up, and then we finish with our ab work and shoulders. So that's it for this week. A quick Power tip for those following the program: make sure you're really clear on your focus on what your why is during off season. It can be a time where we're so far away from competing that we can just go through the motion. So make sure you're really clear on what are you trying to achieve in this off season. What does a successful off season look like for you? Does it matter of hitting a PB with your 2K time trial and return to Christmas? Is a matter of putting on a couple kilos of muscle mass? Maybe it's a area of your game that your coaches have given you feedback on, like your aerial ability. So you want to improve your ability to crash the packs, or your jump, how high you can jump. So be really clear on that, and then have clarity around how when you're at these sessions, if you know your purpose, your intensity, and your ability to have intent will be far greater. So make sure you have that clear focus for every session. And know exactly what a successful preseason will look like. And therefore, you'll dedicate that time and energy to things that are going to help you get to where you need to get to. That's it for this week. Remember, we've got David Misson on the podcast on Wednesday, Ben Serple for our live chat on Thursday. So make sure to tune in. They'll be via our YouTube channel, and send in your questions through social media or via my email address. And Sunday, we've got Prime Chain, our bite-sized episode there. And for any S&Cs wanting to work with us on our internship program, where you get a free academy membership for 1 year, as well as $2,000 and mentored by myself. We've got our senior men's and a senior women's. Make sure to email me within the week at jack@preparelikeapro.com. Really make sure you've got urgency around that, because we will close the opening in the next week. Thanks. I will see you all on our next live show.